Honduras, preliminary results of the general elections were announced, showing a lead for right-wing candidate Nasri Asfoura. This information represents only 34.25% of the votes and reflects the irregularities denounced by the Libre Party. In St. Lucia, over 179,000 citizens prepared to vote on the general elections to be held this Monday, December 1st. And the Palestinian Ministry of Health warned of the closure of hospitals due to the health crisis caused by a lack of supplies, fuel, and continued aggression in the regions of Rafah and Khan Yunis in the south of the Gaza Strip. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Honduras, preliminary results of the general elections were announced, showing a lead for right-wing candidate Nasri Asfoura. This information represents only 34.25% of the votes and reflects the irregularities denounced by the Libre Party. According to the president of the National Electoral Council, the preliminary results of the presidential election for the 2026-2030 term correspond to 6,559 records out of a total of 19,152. The polls are led by Nasri Asfoura, the candidate from the right-wing National Party, with 530,073 votes, followed by Salvador Nasrallah from the right-wing Liberal Party with 506,316 votes, and Rixi Moncada from the ruling Liberty and Refoundation Party with 255,972 votes. The election day was marked by the foreign intervention of the U.S. President Donald Trump, who days earlier publicly endorsed right-wing presidential candidate Nasri Asfoura. For its part, the ruling party, Libre, declared that it expected irregularities in the process. In this regard, the current President Xiomara Castro and the Libre presidential candidate Rixi Moncada have on several occasions denounced the alleged hacking of the preliminary results transmission system.
Los resultados preliminares.
The preliminary results for the presidential election are as follows. Candidate for the Christian Democratic Party of Honduras, 2,152 votes. Candidate for the Liberty and Refoundation Party, Libre, 255,972 votes. Candidate for the Innovation and Social Democratic Unity Party, 10,698 votes. Candidate for the Liberal Party of Honduras, 506,316 votes. Candidate for the National Party of Honduras, 530,073 votes.
And the presidential candidate for the Liberty and Refoundation Party, Rixi Moncada, posted her reaction to the results published by the National Electoral Council. In her X account, Moncada stated, "I am grateful for the Libre Party and our people who overwhelmingly voted for my proposal for economic and democratic reform. I urge you to remain steadfast in your struggle until we obtain the final result with 100% of the presidential, mayoral and congressional ballots counted." She also added, "Tomorrow at a press conference I will announce my political position regarding the presidential results published by the National Electoral Council." Meanwhile, Honduran Foreign Minister Enrique Reina reiterated his allegations this Sunday about irregularities in the preliminary election results transmission system. Through his account on the social network X, he pointed out, "We warned about these days ago," and Cassette said it in his 26 audio messages. The trap's plan is to give selected results in which Rixi Moncada does not win. We must wait for the results of all the minutes. Let's not forget the media manipulation of the frauds in 2013 and 2017. Together we will win, until victory always. And in this regard, Andrés Ochoa, a member of the National Electoral Council, warned about persistent vulnerabilities in the results transmission system. In a statement, he said, "The vulnerabilities of the trap system observed in the November 9th drill persist. In the last few hours, there have been 3 failed system tests. Audits indicate that satellite antennas can be deactivated without leaving a trace. There are audio recordings that mention the reduction of powering specific antennas, which technical reports confirm as possible, and there have been recent failures in the telephone network. The Honduran people deserve to know the truth, and it is my duty to inform them. In view of this, I remind citizens that the 9 p.m. announcement has no legal effect and that the general count must be carried out with the processing of the 19,167 minutes." And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and much more. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. This Monday, December 1st, general elections are underway in St. Lucia, where more than 179,000 people are expected to vote. Our correspondent, Belén de los Santos, is there and is going to bring us more details right now. Hello, Bel.
Hello, Ale. Exactly as we were saying, we are here in St. Lucia at this moment. This is North Castries, the north of the St. Lucian capital, and the voting is underway. It has been so since 6:30 a.m. So we are here. We continue to just go over the different districts where this election is taking place. Let's recall, it's 17 seats to parliament, and the majority gets to elect the PM. The leader of the majority gets to be the PM, and the incumbent Prime Minister, Philippe Pierre, has called these elections in order to try to renew the mandate. We are having closely following also the activity in the streets. We've been seeing, and probably you've shared it already on screen, a lot of activism for both parties, but a lot of presence, at least in this area where we are now in Castries and in Grosislet, both very important districts. Castries is divided into a few different sectors. A lot of activism in favor of the Labour Party, the St. Lucia Labour Party. We were recalling before some of the most important issues that brought this, well, the government to this election had to do with a lot of the achievements that were conquered during this time. That is why the Prime Minister considered that this was a good time to call for this election in order to obtain that majority once again. Let's recall that 2021 was the last victory. The country and the world in general was just coming out of COVID. There was a big mandate to restabilize the economy, to boost growth again, and that's what many are reporting that happened in different sectors, in health, in education, with specific plans targeted to the youth in general, and also being able to target several challenges that are common to the region as a whole. And the proposition, the ideas of the now government party was to try to face those challenges with more social programs with a bet on putting the people first and strengthening those social aids in order to boost growth. And the numbers were there. We actually were speaking to the Prime Minister yesterday. We had some statements that were also in the screen of teleSUR English, and he was highlighting this. On the opposition, we have the United Workers' Party with a possible prime minister, a candidate prime minister that already took that functions up until 2021 and had a completely different view of the economy and the way in which to those goals, with a huge look and efforts put on the private sector. So basically in this elections, the people are choosing where to head next. If they're going to consolidate this model that is focused on these social programs, for example, installing the national minimum wage, or if they're going back to the policies of the UWP, the opposition party. We will be seeing what is happening in the coming hours. Polls will be open until 6 p.m. So stay tuned here to have all the information. Ale, I go back to you now.
Thank you, Elle. Thank you, Elle, for all your information. We are going to keep in contact to know more details on these general elections. And now to go even deeper into the relevance of this democratic process in St. Lucia, we invite from the south, David MacDonald-Denny from the Barbados chapter for the Anti-Fascist International. Welcome, Denny, to From the South.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you.
How would you describe the political landscape in St. Lucia amid these general elections?
Well, I am looking for a victory for the St. Lucia Labour Party, but we must also understand that the United States of America is playing a major role in our Caribbean elections, because they just played a major role in the St. Vincent election, where the U.S. imperialism made sure that a progressive prime minister like Ralph Gonsalves was removed. And we know that they did a similar thing also in Trinidad and Tobago, and they will be trying their best to remove the St. Lucia Labour Party from power in St. Lucia. So we have to be guarded against that kind of behavior in the English-speaking Caribbean region.
And also, with the U.S. launching an unprecedented deployment of military forces in Caribbean waters, what impact do you think this could have on St. Lucia's democratic process? What concerns are emerging within the population regarding this regional context?
For us in the Caribbean region, we have always defended our region as a zone of peace. But you know that there are some right-wing and reactionary politicians in our region that will join with the United States of America so as to help them to create the conditions for us to be threatened in our region. And I must also explain this whole situation in relation to the United States of America in our waters. This is not something that we are accustomed to, and a number of fishermen in our region, especially the southern part of the Caribbean, are now afraid to fish in the Caribbean Sea. And because of that, a number of them are going through serious economic problems because of this behavior by the United States of America to take over the Caribbean Sea and to take advantage of our fishermen. Now, I'm hoping that this will help to strengthen the position of the St. Lucian voters, because they're not only voting for St. Lucia, they're voting for the entire Caribbean region. And that is to keep out these reactionary parties from taking state power in our region.
And in this context you just described, with rising geopolitical tensions in the Caribbean, how important is regional unity for St. Lucia and its neighbors? What steps are needed to ensure that the region remains cohesive despite these external pressures you just mentioned?
Well, the first thing I think that our governments need to do is to create some level of political consciousness among the masses, so that they will better understand what is happening in our region, because This maneuver by the United States of America threatened the lives of every Caribbean man and woman. When you look at it, it's not only the traditional military hardware, but you also have nuclear weapons in our region that threaten the lives of our people in the Caribbean. And what the United States of America is doing is destroying one of our main industries in the region, which is the fishing industry. And therefore I think that the progressive politicians in our region, including the former Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Ralph Gonzalez, must take a very strong position against the United States of America for its behavior and action in our region. Because I was also like to say that Venezuela is a friend of the Caribbean people. When we needed Venezuela gave us an opportunity to participate in the Petro-Caribbean Agreement. One of the countries that benefited from that project was Guyana, where they were able to trade through a barter system rice for oil. So Venezuela have always been there by the Caribbean people whenever there's a disaster in terms of helping our people. And today we must stand up together and unite our forces against this form of U.S. imperialism in our waters.
Thank you very much, David, for your remarks, your analysis in this context.
Thank you also.
We're speaking to David McDonald-Denny from Barbados, a chapter for the Anti-Fascist International. And after this special interview, we have a second short break coming up. Before we invite you to join us on Facebook, our Facebook page at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to From the South. Now we will retake a very important matter for Latin America, Honduras, one day after general elections, a process that has been marked by irregularities, foreign interference, and much more. Our correspondent Jorge Estoso is there and has all the latest information. Hello, Jorge.
¿Qué cosa? Well, there is the day after here in Tegucigalpa, the day after the presidential election that took place yesterday, a more total calm, and the day after the candidate from the political party from the government, we're talking the Party Libre, Ritzy Moncada, has said that she will only recognize final results when all the votes are counted and not preliminary results. On the other hand, we have learned that could be possible that throughout the day, Ritzy Moncada will hold a press conference in which she will present the political position of her party regarding the results. In the meantime, in the streets here in Tegucigalpa and all over the country, the situation is totally peaceful, in order, the same thing that has been throughout the day yesterday, the election day. Now we get back to you.
Thank you, Estoso, for all the information. We will keep in contact with you to know more details regarding this process, this democratic process that has been taking place in Honduras and how it is unfolding. Now we move on to other topics. The Palestinian Ministry of Health warned of the closure of hospitals due to the health crisis caused by a lack of supplies, fuel, and continued aggression in the regions of Rafah and Khan Yunis in the south of the Gaza Strip. The ministry confirmed that the Israeli occupation is deliberately prolonging the fuel crisis, which is interrupting surgeries and the operation of equipment for patients. In addition, Palestinian authorities warned that the winter season is worsening the conditions thousands of those affected by the continued genocide perpetrated by the Zionist regime as camps are flooded by rain. Meanwhile, the Israeli warplanes continue to attack towns east of the city of Rafah, where one neighborhood is reported to have been destroyed. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. Remember, you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For Telesur English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.